All right, welcome everybody back to my channel. I have a very special guest with me today, my friend Anna from Austria. We've been friends for a couple of years now, and I really wanted to have her on my channel because we have the most juicy, enlightening conversations. And I just thought this is a perfect time because we've been both talking about manifesting, abundance, creating your flow, and just, kind of swirling around this topic together. So we decided to share that with all of you today. So welcome, Anna, to my channel.
Hey
And
everyone.
yeah, she's awesome. And yeah, so
Um,
I guess we'll just start this off by talking about what we've been talking about recently with manifesting. And I think both of us were feeling a little bit blocked recently as far as just whether it's financially or just wanting to feel more I don't know, secure within ourselves on a daily basis, and just having those outlets to really put your energy into and not get so sucked down by just human day-to-day things. So what do you think about this? I mean, we've been talking about little things that you can do every day, but I think you should share sort of what you've been doing.
yeah, so I think overall the little things make a very big difference overall. So if you manage to implement the small things into your everyday practices, it's kind of like this saying that the wing of a butterfly can cause a hurricane. And so just what I've really been trying to do is when I lay in bed and instead of when I can't fall asleep to start being upset that I'm not falling asleep, I will actually use this time because I want to relax anyways. So I don't want to go up and do something. So I'll just sit there and imagine all the things that I really enjoy in my life, whether it be improving my relationship with my boyfriend and really being grateful for it, because I think being grateful is a main tool when it comes to attracting certain things you'd like to see more of in your life, or whether it's just feeling good, feeling healthy, taking a break. Like for me, I'm a student and I also have two jobs at the moment, and I have a hobby which is Instagram food photography, which I very much enjoy, but it's just, it's difficult to juggle it all at once. And I've actually called Courtney one time being absolutely close to crying and really being down about just having no free time and being stressed all the time. And yeah, so then Courtney told me about her crazy experience with attracting a laptop, which I'm sure you can elaborate on later. And
Yeah.
that's inspired me a lot. So
Well, we were both talking about this, and what I think is awesome about our conversations is that we always sort of fill in for each other. When someone else is feeling sort of stressed and down, we can sort of fill in for each other. But at
yeah,
that moment, you were feeling just almost how can I find time to be happy? And what I was saying to you is, you don't have to wait for everything to align before you say yes to yourself. That even
yeah,
as you have your two jobs and you have your relationship and you have your school and everything, you can't put that on hold for you. And so instead of and I think this was a really, really important piece that we were talking about the other day, is it's not about trying to think your way there. It's about feeling your way there. And I know you were saying to me, you were like, well, if I notice a negative thought, then am I supposed to stop the negative thought? And I was like, no, that's impossible. You get that train has already left the station, it's going. And it's our job to notice the thoughts and notice the vibration that we have attached to the thoughts rather than trying to stop them. And once you do that, you can be aware of your vibration, and that's what matters, not what your the thoughts
thinking.
necessarily. You know, there's that quote from Abraham Hicks that says, you know, the universe doesn't respond to thoughts, it responds to vibration. So I
Yeah.
think it was really like an important, I mean, you kind of like really got that
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. It kind of just made click because I've been into the law of attraction since my very early teenage years. I've really wanted to know more about it. So I read like The Secret and all these very famous now guidance books. And well, they all say that your thoughts create your vibration in a sense. So that's when I started to reject the negative thoughts, which in turn, now I understand that. But when you're younger, you don't really get that. It's kind of a big no to yourself as a being, which then creates really, really bad vibrations because you're basically having this separation of yourself where this side is okay and the other one is not. And it's basically all the negative thoughts, which I find they only manifest your negative emotions and thoughts if you say no to them. Because if you just let them be, there is space for them and you don't have to believe them, but you let them be, and that makes them okay, and it keeps your vibration at a healthy level so you don't create anything of these negative thoughts or emotions. But
So
that was a major breakthrough, and after that I felt so much better and I had a high after this. So yeah,
yeah,
it's great.
yeah, and we were talking about using dream boards as well as a way to like help you create that sort of momentum. And
Yeah.
dream boards are not new. Like everybody does them, but I had a revelation with them recently. I started reading, I told you about this book, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity.
Oh yeah, I've listened to it as an audiobook.
Yeah, yeah, amazing book by Catherine Ponder. Anyway, I started it. I still have to finish it, but she talks about like these like really practical ways. Like, don't you agree? There's like some pretty like practical ways in that book for you to just create that momentum. And one of them that I started implementing was writing things down um, as I wanted them fulfilled. So everything around abundance, creating your flow, creating your momentum and keeping it going all revolves around this simple notion that I believe is completely true, which is that we're born to be abundant, that
Yeah.
to, um, we don't have to deserve it over time. We don't have to work for it. We just innately are abundant and deserve that. So I started writing things down on post-it notes, like in my wallet. I wrote like the divine intelligence provides for me in all ways, you know, and I would write this down on my wallet. So when I like open up my wallet, I'm like, oh yeah, I deserve all the money I need, and I deserve,
Yeah.
you know, I deserve whatever it is. And so I started this dream board and I showed it to you. And
Yeah, show again, show it
oh
to
yeah,
the
I'll
other.
show it to everybody here. I'll do a screen share. So,
Yeah, I
okay.
really like the idea. I'm working on my vision board, but right now my printer doesn't have any cartonages. Is that the word? I don't know. But I'm doing it.
Okay, let's see. So, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is my vision board. So I can't exactly, can you see my pointer or not? You probably
Yeah, I
can't.
can. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll walk you through some of these things. So recently, what's been sort of spinning within me is creating an album. And I posted recently on my channel about this idea that I have started creating. So a lot of this revolves around that. So here's this picture of a little recording studio that I want to manifest.
Wow.
Like just overlooking just a really naturey place, a place for me to retreat and create some amazing music. This is Orchestra Hall, which is a hall that I've played at for many years since I was young, and I want to play kirtan here. So that's a vision that I share. This is my friend Ragini, who I want to do kirtan with, and actually I manifested that already because she's coming next week to do
Yeah,
kirtan
so
with me.
cool.
So that's like a dream come true. And oh yeah, you talked about the laptop. So this is the laptop that I manifested. I put this on my dream board a week before, and now I have this exact same one.
Yeah, it's
So
so cool.
yeah, MacBook Pro. I'm using it now. And yeah, some other things. Super Soul Sunday. That's the set of Super Soul Sunday. I want to be on that show. And yeah, this is my friend Amundson and I, which we're creating an album together now. So these things are well on their way. So that's what spiraled out of me creating this dream board for myself. Um, and again, it all revolves around I deserve this. I'm not creating this. I am co-creating with the universal intelligence that wants to support me and is there to support me in all ways. So yeah, intervene here.
Well, I think it's just a great practice to visualize these things, because for me, I'm a very headspace person. I think a lot and I don't very often write things down, which, since I have so many thoughts, as a lot of other people do too, I forget. Like, I remember I had a really good thought and I just remember this fact and I don't know what it was again. And yeah, so I think writing stuff down is actually something I really want to implement. And I started doing it this morning because I felt like I really wanted some time off. And it actually worked out. So yesterday I called Courtney and she helped me feel okay with making a little more difficult decision, because I'm a very strong believer in always telling the truth. And um, for me, I have also always felt that I need to tell the truth to others as well. But I've had a difficult relationship with my boss at work, and she's done a lot of things that I didn't feel were okay. Like, they just weren't, when even it comes to the law, like they just weren't good. And I've been feeling stressed. So yesterday I've been at a dinner and everyone there encouraged me to just call in sick. And I'm not actually sick. Like, I'm very much healthy, but I still felt like I felt guilty about it, because this is against one of my principles of always telling the truth, even to people that, I guess you could say, in my opinion, don't really deserve it sometimes because of how they've treated me.
But what's
So,
awesome though is part of what you did was telling the truth to yourself, which is that I deserve to have this break. And that's something that we have to really be more conscious of, is telling the truth is also telling the truth to ourselves, not just to other
yeah,
people. And that has to do with our innate worthiness, which also ties
yeah,
in being abundant, because if we truly believe within us, maybe we're not totally convinced of it, but if there's that seed of us, within us that is still um, very aware that it is worthy
yeah.
everything that you desire for, then we can't really lose ourselves. We can't really forget ourselves. And I think,
And also not manifest the opposite, like, because that's one thing I've been scared of by lying. Basically, I was scared I was gonna attract sickness or any other physical dysfunction. So
here, right, though, because again, the universe doesn't hear words, it hears vibration. So if you want to clean up your vibration, which is what we were talking about yesterday, cleaning up your end of it. So you call in sick, you say, I'm not coming. instead of the underlying vibration being, I lied, I don't deserve this, I'm selfish, whatever the story is, changing that to, I'm telling the truth to myself right now, which is that I need this break. This is the way that I will do this. And
yeah,
you are, integrous, you are respectful, you are, and these are the lines that we almost have to say to ourselves, like stop ourselves, take ourselves by the hand, and like repeat these things like a mantra almost. And
yeah,
that's what this book by Catherine Ponder was teaching me as well, is that all of this stuff I understand with my mind, but I wasn't practicing. And I realized that I got in this loop of, I don't have security, I'm unsafe, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, I don't have enough. And this was the loop that was in my mind.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's just, and you can relate to this as well, like it's bad. And you start to just almost be okay with it, just like accept it as it is, which no, I now
Mhm.
know, like you can't accept that standard of living when you deserve more. So
Yeah.
what are you doing to like, because you have an Instagram page, and I keep telling Anna, like her Instagram is so good, and she creates these amazing smoothie bowls, and that is a form, that is a way of creating, that is a way of sharing, and you just don't downplay. I'm saying this to everyone now, don't downplay what you think is a little creative hobby. Like it's not, it's a way of you sharing yourself, and the more that you take that seriously and see your expression as not comparing to other people, but like your creative expression as a divine gift that you're sharing, that's going to just, give you so much more energy as well. So you want to share?
Yeah, I totally agree. So for me, I really love what I'm doing. And this has actually never happened this way to me, ever, really. I've always been passionate, I guess, kind of about certain things. Like I like exercise because it all made me feel good. But then I started with this business degree, and I was really lacking any creative outlet. So I started this, and I promised myself in the beginning that I would do this for a year and post something every single day. And at the moment, I knew I will have to stick to this promise, because there is a certain promise I make with myself that I say I won't break. And so it's been a crazy journey, and I wasn't aware of how difficult it would be. And once I started comparing myself with others that have been doing this far longer, have grown much quicker, and have way more success, I had symptoms of really not liking it anymore, even though the process and everything involved I loved. But I started comparing, and that made everything so much more difficult just for me to stay on track and decide, hey, I'm doing this for me and not for anyone else. And that's that's a tricky part, I think.
Well, that also comes back to worthiness and our
Yeah.
abundance as well. This all ties in, because if your inner voice, if you pay attention to that, it says, um, what I'm creating is uniquely me, and you can't even compare that to someone else.
Yeah.
Someone else is taking pictures of the same thing. Yours is going to still look totally different because it's you, you know,
Yeah.
and you just can't compare that. And with me, I think for both of us, we're wanting to take sort of an alternate path and, not be confined by the structure of anything, really, just creating our own path, which can be really scary. And again, I think this comes down to, it's not blind trust. It has to do with knowing that what we put out is always coming back to us, in the same amount of energy and even more than what we put out. And
Yeah.
and we talked about this a lot, which is that you have to ask for what you need, like not just to the people around you, but the universe. You have to ask for what you need to be able to get, and you're
Yeah.
going to go through these stages of feeling selfish, feeling like you're too much for people, and maybe even yourself. And um, I think both of us like totally understand that feeling of like being selfish, or maybe that story comes from someone else, maybe your parents or your other family members. Um, but you have to be you have to just be diligent with your inner voice, which is that you are innately worthy, that you are never too much, that you are always deserving. And when you come from that space and place, there's momentum there. So on a daily basis, like what are some things that you like to do? Because I know for me, like I take my nature walks, I
Oh,
do kirtan, um, I mean, those are my two main like things, but I think everybody has their own that they have to kind of find, but it doesn't have to be anything ginormous either. Like I think when people
no.
manifesting, they think like, oh, I got to go make a vision board and then I got to sign up for this class and then I got to like read all the books. It's like, no, that's too complicated. Just focus on every moment of your day when you have a conscious awareness. Check in with how you feel, and whatever is the path of least resistance in that moment, lean into that. So
Yeah.
would you agree with that?
Yeah, and what I can say now, as having never been persistent, like as soon as something got difficult and I didn't see immediate results, like I guess I'm quite impatient in that sense, um, I gave up. I was frustrated and I would stop. And what I feel is really sticking to one thing and making it so automatic. It may just be affirmations that you wake up and you read yourself the affirmations. It may just be that you wake up and you do your bed and then you meditate. It's just these simple acts that you do mindful. I think mindful is a word that is kind of the 2018 trend word. I think everyone uses it, but for me, it just is so closely related to focus
Yeah.
and focus on yourself, on anything, but it has to be specific. And I think one thing that our society struggles with so much is finding something and then sticking to it and not immediately going to the next best thing. Because I've done this so many times, and I think it is the most dominant vibration that makes you feel all over the place and not centered. And
Yeah.
that is the most crucial thing I think I can say, is that to focus on one thing, and it shows, like it shows in your work, it shows in you get better at it. And I've had days where my food did not look as I wanted it to look because I had so many distracting thoughts. And then, yeah, it's getting better every time I decide to not only do this one thing and not check my phone or all these other distracting mediums.
I agree. Yeah, I think we're gonna do a part two. We're gonna wrap this up pretty quick, and
Yeah,
um, but I just want to finish that with, it's not about the actual act itself, it's the mindfulness in what you're doing. You can be riding the train, you can be writing a paper, you can be taking a walk, whatever it is, as long as
yeah,
you're being mindful of your vibration in that moment and just noticing it. You don't have to change how you feel, but noticing it.
yeah,
That is, awareness is transformation in my view. So I think
yeah,
there's some like pretty easy things to implement. Mindfulness, it's easy. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to get on a bandwagon or whatever it is. Like, you don't have to join a group or anything, or even meditate. I mean, I think this is just abundance and mindfulness go hand in hand to me.
yeah.
So
Whatever feels right for you in the moment, like it's very individual, like it depends so much on your current state, how you're feeling, what the situation's like, and then just listen. And if you just feel like laying in bed and doing absolutely nothing, then that's fine, and that will improve your situation for the moment, and that's what will improve your life in the long term if you continue to make decisions now that will up your vibration.
as long as you're being in that moment, noticing that that is the
Yeah,
best
of course.
for you
Yeah.
in creating that space for you in that moment. Yeah, good stuff. I think we're gonna do a part two of this for sure. Don't
Yeah,
make this one too long,
yeah,
um, but yeah. So I'll link Anna's channel below and your Instagram page so people can go and follow you.
yeah, awesome.
Channel Anna, you're the best. But
Thank you. I'm so happy that we managed to do this because we weren't sure it will work out because Courtney didn't have a laptop, but
I didn't.
it's just perfect because,
Yeah, so thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video, and have a great week.
yeah. Bye.